Welcome to the very first episode of Leading the Moment with Dr. Jeremy Pickard. Hello, Jeremy.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm outstanding.
Welcome to campus.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to be here so far today.
This is going to be exciting. We're kicking off a new conversation series featuring people, ideas, and stories shaping Southwest Tech in our district. We'll talk about leadership, higher education, workforce training, and everything that makes this college so great. We'll also take time to get to know you behind your title. We're excited. We'll talk about your journey into education, what drew you to Southwest Tech, and we'll have some fun along the way. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Couldn't be more ready.
Excellent. So let's start. It's Dr. Jeremy Pickard. How often do people mispronounce your name?
Yeah, a lot of times I get the Captain Pickard, to be honest with you, and somebody will flash the good old Star Trek sign to me. But once you get to know them, Pickard is they come along pretty quickly. But it's either Pickard or Pickard is usually what I get called on the regular. I've been called much worse, so I answer to usually either of those. It's not too big of a deal. But yeah, Jeremy Pickard is how you pronounce the last name.
Excellent. And you have a nice suit choice today, the blue and the gold.
Yeah, you got blue is one of my favorite colors. And, some people have already accused me of wearing my Hawkeye tie coming out of the Iowa area, but that's not for that. I actually was a school board president, and we had gold in our colors as well. And so when I was handing out diplomas, this was my go-to tie when I did that. So fit right in, pulled it out of the closet. It's one of my favorites, and it's going to work very well here at Southwest Tech.
Yeah, it's fitting.
Yeah, very fitting.
So let's start with a quick 5 questions to get us started. These are rapid-fire questions. We know you already have the job here, Jeremy, but these are super important questions, okay?
Here we go.
All right. Star Wars or Star Trek?
By far. I know Captain Pickard might throw it off there a little bit, but I was not a Star Trek fan at all. In fact, I had to probably go figure out who Captain Pickard was the first time I got called it. Star Wars all the way. Early Star Wars. I've not been a huge fan of the later ones, episode 1, 2, and 3, but for sure the OG, the original ones. I grew up on Star Wars, had the action figures, tried to indoctrinate all of my children to make sure that they were Star Wars fans. So yeah, Star Wars, it is significantly over Star Trek.
Yeah, good answer. All right, this is a big one. Take a minute.
Yeah.
Think about it. This could impact our friendship.
Sure.
Brewers or Cubs?
Okay, so yes is going to be the answer. And the reason why it's yes is I'm a Braves fan.
Okay.
And you have to kind of go down this little time trail with me. So growing up, we watched the Braves because of TBS. And that's what my dad was a Braves fan and forced us to watch the Braves because my dad was a Hank Aaron fan when he was with the Milwaukee Braves. Mm-hmm. And so Dad followed Hank Aaron from Milwaukee to Atlanta, and that's how we became Atlanta Braves fans. I watched more Cubs games because of WGN. It was just on in our area, and I only watched the Brewers when they were playing the Cubs, the Braves, just to be honest with you. So I like baseball. I cheer for all of them. I think the Brewers logo is one of the best logos in baseball by far, with the M and the B that looks like a mitt with the ball in the middle. It's one of my favorites. So I could be partial to switching over away from the Cubs and to the Brewers for sure.
That's a fair answer. We'll take that.
Yep.
Another big one around here, obviously, Packers or Bears?
Yeah, this is not even close. It's Bears all the way. I was a Walter Payton fan, and I would just like to go on record again and state that the Bears played one more game than the Packers did this past year. Now, how the Packers fans are feeling right now is how I've felt as a Brave fan for probably the last 2 decades. So if you need any help on how to cope with how your team's doing as a Bears fan, I can help you do that. We finally have a little something to cheer about.
Absolutely.
But quite frankly, I root for the division. So whoever's have a chance to go, I'll root for the Lions, the Vikings, somewhat the Packers, and for sure the Bears.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I heard through the grapevine you're a fan of cheese. So smoked cheese or cheese curds?
Oh man, that's good. So in our town and in our area where I grew up, they made their own cheese curds. So we would consider ourselves cheese curd snobs because we could go 10 minutes down the road, get them right as they were scooping them out fresh. Everybody loved them. Whenever I went or traveled anywhere, I was supposed to carry cheese curds with me. That place sold, and they kind of redid their recipe, and it just hasn't been the same until I got here to Fenimore, and we went in and bought cheese curds here locally. And my kids and my family are like, where did you find these? Like, these are the OG cheese curds. These are like the original ones. And so even my daughter, I came up last night and was staying through the day. She said, don't forget to bring me home some cheese curds. So I would say cheese curds are pretty special in our heart just because of that. However, it's smoked hot pepper cheese is, you put that on a burger, you put that with some deer bologna and a cracker. Like, I can't beat a good smoked hot pepper cheese. So they rival each other. I'm not too particular. Whatever's there and whatever's in front of me, I'm probably gonna eat either of those.
So when you were young, growing up, like all of us, what did you want to be when you grew up, Jeremy?
That's a good question. I think it starts with a professional baseball player or basketball player, and then that doesn't necessarily work out. I had a great role model in my dad. I always wanted to be like my dad and do that, and so looked up to him quite a bit. I went to college to become a CPA or an accountant, and tax accounting kind of got me, and just through a couple of things that happened in my life, got redirected into education. And so I started as a high school business teacher because of my background in coach. So coached basketball and actually girls softball at the time. And then only worked at the K-12 systems for 2 years. And then I moved into the community college teaching in the business department. And really, once I got to the technical and community college, that's where I found my people and the mission that we were on, and fell in love with it ever since. And so ever since then, I knew that that's the place that I wanted to be. We have the opportunity to change people's lives for the better. And oftentimes, not for all of our students, but for many of them, this is their educational opportunity. They don't have one of 5 things that they can pick from. This is the one. And if they don't get it here and they not successful here, then they're going to go back to whatever they're trying to kind of get out of or change their life through education. And that's the thing I think that drives me every single day, is thinking about that person who's here at Southwest Tech to change their lives. And not only is it going to change their life, but change their spouses' lives, probably their kids' lives, their kids' lives, and what we can do and the ability we have to change folks through education, through getting them a good job, a gainful employment in the area, to change the economic factors of our region. That's the driver every single day, to know that if I hold up my end of the deal, and hopefully they uphold their end of the deal, we're all going to be successful and turn out some really great workforce folks and some really great graduates and alumni at Southwest Tech.
Absolutely. In your earlier career, is there a person or an event that really turned the switch for you into higher education, Jeremy?
I could name several mentors throughout my entire life, and without them, I wouldn't be able to sit at this microphone and have this conversation with you. I had a person I shared an office with. I would consider her the greatest teacher at the community college ever. Her name was Carol Cunningham. And I remember being in my first year sitting at my desk, and I looked across my office at Carol, and I thought, if that's the standard, like, how in the heck did they hire me? Because she was elite and she was great. And Carol just poured into me and mentored me and shared tips and tricks and advice, and just showed me how to be a true professional in the classroom and a teacher. And just encouraged me to try new things, to expand on the offerings and the curriculum that we were doing in the moment. And then I had a dean at the time who became the president, who came to me shortly into my career and says, well, so what are you going to do when you get bored of teaching? And I thought, what are you talking about? Like, I love what I'm doing. He goes, no, I think you need to go back and get your PhD. I think you need to go back and start to look at managing and being in administration and doing some of those things. And he gave me just a great piece of advice where I got my first opportunity to be an administrator. And boy, I can't think more highly of him. And then just recently, I had 2 colleagues that took me out for breakfast just a couple weeks ago. And they were 2 that had hired me to move up into administration. And they just wanted to kind of send me off, if you will. And I walked into breakfast with my new Southwest Tech name tag, and they kind of laughed. And truly, I did it because without the 2 of them in my life, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be the president of Southwest Tech. And they were just great mentors, great friends, coaches, probably saw potential in me long before I did. And I think we all have people like that. And I think it's our responsibility to pass that on to the next group of people that come in. So who's going to sit in my seat someday? How can I invest in them? How can I help lift them up? How can I show them the possibilities that are out there, long before they're able to see it themselves? And I think I think college does that for folks. I think the tech college does that for people. It's just a graduation not too long ago, and we heard story after story at student speech after student speech that said those exact things about the people who work here and the impact that those folks had on their lives. Nobody remembers a classroom or a building or a piece of equipment, but what they do remember is an advisor. They do remember a faculty. They do remember a staff member that helped them and invested in their lives, and that I want to do the same for others as well.
That's absolutely true. You remember the people, right?
That's right.
That's
absolutely
right. You mentioned your Southwest Tech name tag. What was it about, or what is it about Southwest Tech? When this opportunity came up, you're like, oh, this is going to be the right fit for me.
Yeah, so I was quite picky. So this is the first place I've ever applied to be a president at, first place I've ever interviewed, and obviously the first place I've ever been offered a presidency at. Had a long career at Eastern Iowa Community College. I'm not leaving there upset or anything. It was just probably time. But I was very, very kind of strategic and thoughtful on where I wanted to go. CTE and career and technical education, tech schools are very, very important to me. The state and how the state system works and how the state backs and sponsors and supports education was very important to me. Wisconsin does a really nice job and a great job of that. There's some other states that I probably wouldn't have an interest in going to just because I feel like maybe the system there just isn't supported like it needs to be. And I feel like Wisconsin is always very much supported. And then just the work that you all are doing for rural communities. I live in a rural community. Rural communities are near and dear to my heart. And so to have an opportunity to come to a place that supports and serves rural Wisconsin in the Midwest, it felt like home. And it still does. Every day it feels more and more like home. And the people here, they're just normal people like me doing absolutely great things. They probably undersell themselves a lot. It's a Midwest kind of humility that I really appreciate. A lot of people doing a lot of great work and not looking for a pat on the back. They just want to invest in their students and make sure they're taken care of.
So now that you've been on campus a few times and kind of seen the facilities and talked to some people, what are your takeaways here in the early couple weeks, Jeremy?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of really good things going for us. The Aspen Prize is outstanding. It looks like you brought the Aspen Prize here. We are the gold standard, and we are recognized as that. And so we're Southwest Tech that has been recognized by Aspen of doing really great thing, and I think that's important to continue to solidify the great things that we have been doing. We're going to continue to work on enrollment because more students need to come in here and experience what we have to offer and how we take care of them the minute they walk in our door until graduation. And so if we continue to build those partnerships with our potential students and our businesses and our K-12 partners, that's what I'm really looking forward to because we know the impact that those things can have on our communities.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears a little bit here before we end it. Jeremy, talk a little about your family, wife, kids, and what do they think about this big move?
They're all in. So, we're quite excited. So we have 5 children. 3 are out of the house. So my wife is my best friend. We started dating when we were 14 years old. So we've been together a long, long time. Got married young, had kids young. And so we have 5 children. 3 are out of the house, 2 are married. And I still have 2 that are in high school. So I've got one that's going to be finishing up high school as a senior this next coming year, and then one that'll be a sophomore. And so all are really excited about the opportunity to go to a new place and try something different. And I think we're really excited about getting involved in our community because we've done that there. So through our local church, through our local schools, just being involved in different ways in our community, we're all very, very excited about continuing that and continuing to do that. My older daughter is married, and so she has 4 kids, actually 5th on the way. We just found that out last week. So we're excited to have them in our lives too and be grandparents as well. So it's great. We're having a good time.
You're too young to be a grandpa, aren't you?
I don't know. Some days my knees don't tell me that I'm that young, but yeah, that's okay. I think by having kids young and her having kids at a little bit younger age, yeah. Every day I get older though, man.
Right. So your younger 2 kids, they're close to college age. Have you talked to them about after high school?
Yeah, we've done a couple of tours already here at Southwest Tech. We've looked at a number of the programs. My son has an interest in a couple of them. When he graduates actually in January this coming year or December, he can graduate mid-year as a senior. He'll look to start here at the Tech in January. So that's the plan right now. And a number of my other kids went through the other institution that I came from as well. So yep, planning on doing that. And they all have their bachelor's degree. One has their master's degree, and one actually just a couple weeks ago graduated from optometry school, but all started at the community college and the technical college.
That's great. We'll take them.
Yeah.
We need them, right?
That's right.
That's great. So before we close, one final question, Jeremy, I guess, looking forward to the next 2, 3, 5 months, what do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, I think the important part is just starting to meet the players, and I've already started to do that. So official start date is June 29th, but we've really been working hard to try to get to know a number of the folks, meeting with the state presidents, meeting with the CISA 3 folks, and then just trying to get everybody internally met and connected with and have a good understanding of that, meeting with board members on the regular. So I think that first initial part is just understanding who everybody is, the role that they're playing, and connecting with them and making sure they understand that, my support and just encouraging them to continue to do the great work that we've already been doing. Obviously, there's going to be need to move forward in a number of things, starting new programs, taking a look at how we can continue to recruit and attract new students here, and then building on the great work that we've had through Aspen and those types of things. So I'm really excited about continuing that work as well.
Absolutely, and we're excited you're here.
Yeah, great. It's great to be here.
Welcome to Southwest Tech.
Thank you very much.
So that wraps up episode 1 of Leading the Moment with Dr. Jeremy Pickard, not Pickard. And join us again as we learn more about Southwest Tech in the coming weeks and months.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Yep.